Thanks for hanging out for this mini session on Am I This or That Type? Today we are focused on uncovering Am I a Type 2 or Am I a Type 3? And I'm having a little bit of a tickle in my throat and my nose, so I'm gonna try my best not to be rubbing my nose this whole time, but that might happen. We are going to look at the Type 2 who is motivated by being for the need to be loved and wanted and appreciated, and the Type 3 that is motivated by the need to be successful and seen as accomplished. They both have some very similar qualities. One of them is that they are both in the feeling or heart center of intelligence, where they kind of, their heart knows before their head or their gut, their body reaction. But we're going to talk about a little nuance with the Type 3 in just a second. And then they're neighbors, right? So a lot of times people, the confusion is, am I a Type 3 with a strong wing 2, or am I a Type 2 with a strong wing 3? So hopefully after this, you'll have some additional insight into that. A Type 3, even though they are in that center of intelligence with the feelings, they're much more out of touch because they repress their feelings because they are very focused on their goal. They're very goal oriented, and feelings can feel like they're getting in the way. Whereas a Type 2, much more in touch with feelings, especially the feelings of other people, and have a lot more tolerance and are much more people focused. So right away, a Type 2 is going to be people focused. A Type 3 tends to be more goal focused. And because of that, they are much more focused on efficiency, where a Type 2 is going to be more focused on emotions. How is my team feeling? How are they doing? Like, let me check in with that. Type 3 is going to be more concerned with how on track are we to hitting our goal? Are we going to get there quickly? How are we doing from getting to point A to point B? Another thing to think about is a Type 2 tends to prefer to be liked at work. I'd rather be likable. And a Type 3 is going to prefer to be respected. I always think of that Michael Scott meme from The Office, thinking, would you rather be loved? What is it? Would you rather be loved or feared? And he's like, both. So it's kind of the same thing. And I don't think I got that right, but I think if you're an Office fan, you know where I'm going with that. And a Type 3 is thinking, I'd rather be respected. A Type 2 is going to be much more patient in a work setting, and really a lot of settings, and especially when it comes to emotional patience. For the reasons that we just talked about, Type 3 is going to have a lot less tolerance, be a lot more impatient when it comes to emotions. Another thing to think about is how you handle conflict. A Type 2 tends to be with our Type 7 and our Type 9s in this positive outlook group, where when a problem arises, they tend to put a positive spin on it. And in their case, they're going to think everything's going to be fine. I'm here to help, don't worry. And a Type 3, when a problem arises, they're more in this kind of data, not drama. And they're going to be thinking, listen, I'm sure that there is a rational, efficient solution to this problem. We just need to put our heads down and get to work. So there's much more that we can get into with the differences between those two, different nuances at a deeper level. But hopefully this provides you with some additional clues that while there is some overlap, especially when it comes to worthiness, they both, have a desire to be worthy, and a 2 is focused on being worthy for how much they do for others, how helpful they are to others. And a Type 3 is, how successful am I seen by others? How accomplished am I? So more like, I am a human doing, and I get my worthiness from how much I'm working, whereas a 2 is thinking, how much am I working maybe on behalf of others? How much am I helping others? And so if you are still unclear what your type is, that is exactly what we do inside my Know Your Numbers typing sessions, where we'll sit down one-on-one. There's some fun homework that we'll get into. We'll have our session, and then there is some post follow-up to continue to help you along that journey, not just uncover what your dominant type is, which is very important, but also to then know what to do with it. Great, I know that I'm a 2, or I know that I'm a 3. Now what? We'll talk about that inside your Know Your Number session. You can learn more about those over at sarahlynco.com. Until next week, I will see you back here soon for another Am I This or That video training session. If there is a type that you are wondering about yourself, reach out and let me know, and we'll do that in the next one. Thanks so much for being here. See you soon.